Hi folks, welcome to another YouTube video on the Uilleann pipes. This is one that I've had a request for a fair bit, and that is, what do you do if you're actually looking to get into playing the Uilleann pipes? Where do you start? How do you actually get your hands on a set of pipes? So this one's a bit of a minefield. The Uilleann pipes are a difficult enough instrument to get the grips with, and even finding a good working set is actually a bit of an uphill struggle. So I'm hoping this video is going to bring a little bit more clarity to the whole sort of thing and help you get a good instrument to get you started on your piping journey. So I've broken this up into a sort of a top 10 tips to help you get started and have an idea what to look out for. It's sort of broken up into two sections. I'll talk a little bit at the start about buying a brand new set, what to look out for on that, and then the other one is going to be if you're looking to get your hands on a second hand set as well. This is kind of based on a set of tips that Martin Nolan, the great Dublin piper, put up a good number of years ago, and I think maybe it's evolved a little bit, but there's still a lot of key takes from that I'm going to maybe elaborate on as we go. So here we go, and this is tip number 1. So where do you actually start? The instrument can be bought in various configurations, so you can start with a practice set, which is literally the chanter, the melody pipe. So the chanter here, where you just play the notes and the notes come out. You'll want to get one of these with a bag and the bellows under your arm to play. You can get a so-called practice chanter for the Uilleann pipes, which you blow into, but you don't really want to do that. It's not really recommended because the Uilleann pipes, they actually take a bellows blown reed, so if you're actually blowing into it with the moisture in air, you can damage the reed. So don't skimp out and just get a practice chanter. Make sure you get the bag and the bellows to go with it, because that is actually a big part of the instrument, and learning how to control the bag with the pressure, getting the 2 different octaves in there. You'll need a bag and bellows really to master that at the start. A lot of people will say start with a half set as well, so you can get the drones. I wouldn't really recommend starting with a full set. That adds on the extra regulators, so you can play the company, the chordal accompaniment to your playing. There's a lot of pipers will say, start with a full set, get whatever you can, and then you'll eventually get the hang of them as you go. I would suggest maybe starting with a practice set, or at the very most with a set of drones. The reason being is the maintenance that comes with a full set is actually considerably more than you would get with a practice set. And if you're starting to learn Irish music on the Uilleann pipes, it's probably a good idea to get your hands on something like a tin whistle, or even the big aluminium low whistles. They can help you with the finger spacing. The actual finger holes are a little bit different on the whistle compared to the Uilleann pipes, but it's a good idea to get one just for learning the tunes, And with Uilleann pipes, they sort of come in 2 different varieties as well. You get, which is the sort of standard, they're called concert pipes. So these ones where the bottom note is pitched in D, and this is the most popular one, I guess. It's useful for playing with other instruments, and it's the one you'll hear on I'd say maybe 90% of the recordings out there of Uilleann pipes. The other alternative is the old style pipes, and these are most commonly referred to as flat pipes, flat pitch pipes, excuse me. And these are sort of pitched below the key of D, so the bottom note can be C sharp, C, B flat. Those are the typical sort of common flat pipes. The holes are a lot smaller on flat pipes, and it makes it a bit harder to sort of get your fingers around it. They sound a lot sweeter and a lot quieter, so maybe if you're planning on being a solo piper, or you don't want to annoy your neighbours with the volume or whatever, then flat pipes might be a good option to go for. But they typically be a bit bigger as well. So this is a sort of standard Uilleann chanter in the key of D, and then if I put a C, this is one in the key of C, and you can see it's actually considerably bigger, and the holes being smaller, but the actual chanter length is longer. So yeah, one to think about if you've got small hands maybe, I don't know. Another thing with Uilleann pipes, keys on your chanter aren't particularly important. They're not an indication, I suppose, of a well-made chanter or a good sounding chanter. They're a nice addition to have, but they're not essential. I've got, this is the chanter that I learnt on, and you'll see I've got the blocks here for the keys, but it actually didn't have any keys. Space for the C key here on the back, but it's actually been filled in. And you can still reach the upper octave C on that one, no problem. I've got quite another chanter here by Peter Hunter, and again you'll see there's like no, you got that there, there's no keys on that one either. So yeah, it's not an indication basically that it's an amazing chanter. A lot of amazing chanters out there don't actually have keys. If you are going to get keys, the only one I would recommend really is the back C key, which helps you hit that upper octave, the second octave high C. I've got this one here just so you can see, and that's just on the back of the chanter, and you hit that with your thumb. So maybe that's the only one that you really need. The other one that's quite nice to have is the F natural key, but again, you know, you don't need that often. And if you're just getting into the pipes, they can be, you know, prohibitively expensive to get a chanter with extra keys. So it's not 100% essential, but it is a nice to have. So yeah, just to summarize that one, if you're thinking about getting into pipes and you're not 100% sure about it, whatever, a practice set is probably your best place to start. Add a push, get the drones in there as well, just so you've got them to play along. Okay, on to point number 2. If you are going to be buying new, it's best to avoid something like eBay or Amazon, any of those sort of websites where you can just log in, you can see a set of pipes with a price on it, you hit buy. Now, more often than not, those sets are made in Pakistan, and they are of particularly poor quality. I actually did a little review of one of these chanters. I'll put like a link in the description for the previous video if you want to hear the sort of struggles that I had trying to get some sound out of it. And I've been playing for a number of years now, and played pipes, all different types of Uilleann pipes, and I still struggled to get a good sound out of it. I can't imagine how difficult it would be if you were picking one of those instruments to learn on. Sometimes in those sets the bellows can be good, sometimes the bags can be good, but it's a real, like, it's a lottery out there. You've got no idea what you're actually getting yourself in for if you go for one of those sets. They're kind of easy to spot. They typically come with like the brand name Jeffrey, which is, I suppose, like a play on one of the best makers out there of Uilleann pipes, Jeff Wolf. So they come under the sort of the Jeffrey brand name, and they are really not worth your while whatsoever. A friend of mine who's a pipe maker said they even make for very poor firewood because they actually don't even season the wood properly. So yeah, best to avoid that sort of thing. Okay, let's have a look on eBay. So yeah, this is really the kind of thing you want to be avoiding, these sort of Jeffrey pipes. Davy Stevenson chanter, that's another Stevenson one, I think. A book if you want to make your own. Some of these quite poor looking reeds, more dodgy looking reeds, and just loads and loads of Jeffrey stuff. Yeah, these sort of made in Pakistan things, they are not really worth your pennies. Let's try another website. This is Bagpipes Galore, so this is one of the other top hits on there. Yeah, £320. I've seen one of these sets and they are not worth that. I mean, anything that has like a plastic reed with it as well. I mean, yeah, 5-star reviews. It's completely playable out of the box. Yeah, I strongly doubt that. Okay, so I found another website here. This is Harp and Dragon, and I'll see what they have here. So these are more made in Pakistan ones. Sometimes they have the name Rosbeck, which is, yeah, not great. But yeah, the same sort of thing, but a slightly different design than these ones. These are based on an American pipe maker who tried to help them out, and then they basically just stole the design. So dodgy dudes. But yeah, this is a nice example of a with a mouth blown Uilleann pipe attachment that I was chatting about earlier. Yeah, you basically want to avoid anything that follows that sort of idea. Alright, point number 3. Buy from a known maker. So somebody who's been in the business for a while, somebody who knows what they're doing, somebody who makes good pipes, somebody who knows the ins and outs of the instrument and knows what they're doing. You can always check just put the name of the pipe maker into Google, see what pops up, see if you've got any reviews on there, do they have a website, have they got an internet presence. I mean, historically this sort of thing wasn't important within Uilleann piping, but nowadays it's more important than ever. Do they have like any sound clips on their website? Have they got any videos? Is there anything online? Can you see some photographs of the work? Can you see the type of designs that they do, the type of pipes that they make? Do they have a price list? That can be important as well. And yeah, a lot of established makers will have what they would call maybe like a budget set. So as an example, one of the best makers in the world is a fella in Germany called Andreas Rugge, and he makes what he calls like a student set, and this is a set made out of a practice set, but the chanter's made out of a type of plastic. It's very, very resin, very beautiful tone off of it, and you get like your normal, top quality bellows, top quality bag to go with this one, and it's considerably cheaper than what you would normally charge for a practice set. So, there's a lot of people out there who make this sort of thing. Another fella who would be maybe worth looking into is a guy over in America called David Day. He makes what they call a penny chanter. So it's like a chanter that's made out of sort of plastic and brass. Again, like a nice, cheaper alternative. So it's not made out of wood, but it sounds great. It's got a lovely tone. You've got your proper reeds in there, no messing, everything's great. Okay, point number 4. Buy from a maker who is local to you. Now, this is not always going to be a viable option for a lot of pipers or wannabe pipers out there, wherever you are in the world. I was kind of lucky growing up in Ireland. I had a few pipe makers sort of close by me. It was just a couple hours down the road if I wanted to go get like a reed sorted out or something like that. But it is important where you can to buy from somebody who lives near you. Now, they're not an easy instrument. They require a serious amount of maintenance, well more compared to like, say, for example, like a guitar or, a flute or something like that. It's also worth taking into consideration any sort of climate issues that you might have. Now, pipes being a wind-blown instrument, and the reeds are very susceptible to changes in environment. So, say for example, you buy a set that was made to be played in Ireland, and you take it to somewhere that's really humid and really, really hot, you might not be able to get a single note out of it, So it's worth buying from somewhere that's sort of local, where you can take those sort of things into consideration. And the P Brilliant have a nice part on the website where it gives you like a list of sort of pipe makers from like around the world. So maybe you can find someone who's close by to you there. Probably a good idea. Check that out, put a link in the description. Your other options are going on to something like, the Uilleann Piping page on Facebook or one of the forums and just saying, are there any pipe makers in my area? Who's my nearest pipe maker? And people will be able to chime in and give you some direction with that. Okay, point number 5. Expect to wait a long, long time to get your pipes. Now, nothing in learning pipes, or nothing in pipes in general, is going to be quick and easy. And you probably should get used to that right now if you're thinking about investing in a set of pipes. So pipe makers typically have like a waiting list, and the way that it works is you contact your pipe maker, you sort of agree what sort of set of pipes you want, and then they will put your name on the list. You might have to pay a deposit, which will be, a pre-arranged sum, maybe like a percentage of the overall cost of the pipes. But doing that will get your name on the list, and then basically your pipe makers will just go through the list, and as they're going, they'll get closer and closer and closer to your set, and then whenever it comes up time for them to make your set, they'll make it. Pipe makers will probably be working on a couple of different sets at a time. So say, for example, you wouldn't just sit down and make a set of pipes from start to finish. You maybe do a handful of chanters and then keep going and building all the bits as you go. But it's not a quick and easy process. Now, occasionally you get makers who will have a few bits and pieces available to buy on the website. I know a few makers are sort of moving towards that sort of a business model instead, just basically making pipes whatever they want, and then they put them up, and then that's whatever they want to go, they'll sell that for whatever they want. People can just go in and buy them, but more often than not, it will be a long wait before you get a set of pipes from a maker. So when you're like asking about ordering a set of pipes, maybe ask what the wait time is for that, and be expected to wait a while, and expect the wait time to increase as well. It's also worth pointing out that you should probably agree on the sort of specifics of the set of pipes you want to go for, like what type of wood you want to choose. I mean, it bears very little impact on the actual overall instrument at the end. If you want to go for something boxwood, like a nice blonde set, or if you want to go for like ebony or African blackwood, or something different out there, you know, what type of metal do you want? Do you want to go for, they're typically brass or nickel silver, or something a bit fancier? I mean, if you're just buying like a practice set, maybe something like in blackwood and brass is just fine. Do you want to have like wood mounts on it? Do you want to have like artificial ivory on there? Up to you. But yeah, the point is to agree with your pipe maker before you start, and also to agree on a price, so that whenever it comes time to pay them, you're not suddenly surprised by how much it costs. Okay, now point 6. We're going to start talking about buying a second-hand set of pipes here. And again, this is another absolute minefield, especially if you don't know what you're doing. It's best to buy from like an established sort of website. So maybe the Chif and Fipple forums, na Uilleann do a classifieds ad section as well, which you can occasionally get really, really good stuff from there. Even like the Facebook Marketplace can be actually pretty good to get stuff on. It's probably worth checking out the Facebook page for the Uilleann Pipes buying and selling, or even just like the standard sort of Facebook Uilleann Pipes page. You can occasionally get some good stuff on there. Now, sometimes you can get bargains on things like eBay, or on Gumtree, or even on like auction houses, but if you're not able to see the pipes in person, you know, you can always request like a sound sample, ask for more photographs, ask of what condition the reed is it a new reed, who made the reed. These things will all help sort of piece together whether it's like a good set of pipes or not, or if it's a set of pipes that needs any maintenance. Buying secondhand like this, it's always a bit of a gamble, so you know, be prepared to like sort of lose money if you're not 100% sure what you're going in for with that sort of thing. So yeah, do be careful. If you're not sure, just get an opinion of another piper out there, or you can, I suppose you could put like a message on one of the message boards or onto one of the Facebook groups and see, you know, what people in the world of piping out there are thinking about about that sort of specific set. You know, if there's anything to look out for or anything to ask your seller about. But yeah, be careful. You can get bargains out there; they do exist. But yeah, just make sure you do your research first and ask a lot of people and see what their opinions are on that sort of thing. And yeah, wherever possible, get like a video clip or a sound clip or something that will basically tell you if the instrument's any good or not. Point number 7. If you're buying a second-hand set, be prepared to have to do some maintenance on them. Yeah, it's not one of the biggest selling points of the Uilleann pipes for sure, but being able to like do some basic maintenance stuff on them will really help your enjoyment of the instrument and really help you understand the instrument as well, and get a lot more sort of, I suppose, value for money out of it. Now, if you're buying a second-hand set, does it need any repairs? Is there something wrong with it? Does it need new reeds? These are all things you've got to take into consideration. Like if you find like say for example like a bargain of a set on like one of the second-hand websites, but it doesn't have any reeds with it. Well, like a chanter reed could cost you anywhere between like £60 to £100. You know, you want to factor this sort of thing into the actual overall cost of the instrument. And you know, if it's like missing a part, do you need to go to a pipe maker to have this made, or is there something you can substitute out, or do you need to buy a new bag for it? Is the bag leaking? Yeah, bags can be expensive, you know. So the kind of thing you want to think about if you're like buying second-hand pipes, you know, are you just buying this as like a shell and you're going to like do it up essentially, or is it something you want to be able to hit the ground running with straight away? And again, something like a video or like some more close-up photographs or a little bit more information on the pipes, that should help you with that as well. Okay, point number 8. Don't buy a mystery set of pipes. If you don't know who the maker is, or there's no stamp on there, you could be gambling and you never know what you're going to get. Now, sometimes this pays off and you buy a set of pipes and it turns out it's from a really, really good maker and it sounds amazing. That's great. More often than not, though, this is not going to be the case. Now, not every maker stamps their sets, but it is a good indication to look out for. In fact, some of the best makers out there don't stamp. You can just sort of tell their work by the quality of the craftsmanship, or the way they do like a certain turn, or they've got like something specific about their pipes that nobody else has. Again, not an indication that it's a good maker or not, if it's been stamped or not, but if the person selling it doesn't know who made the pipes and you don't know who made the pipes, you could be buying a plum, you know. Number 9. Okay, full disclosure, old pipes are really cool and I play almost exclusively like old, antique, weirdo, vintage, I guess, sets. But I would not recommend going for one of these sets of pipes if you were just new to the instrument. And the reason being is they require like a considerable amount more maintenance and repairs, and compared to like a brand new set or a set by a modern maker, they are great. I mean, I love playing old pipes. There's just a buzz you get from playing them, you know, something that's been around for 100, 200 years or whatever. But it would be like, if you're buying them to like learn on, it would be like learning how to drive in a classic car, you know. It's like, you don't want to do that, basically. Another thing to think about if you're like buying old pipes is importing them, which can be an absolute pain in the neck as well. Like, a lot of them will have materials that are illegal to import. You might have to get like a passport for your pipes. You might need to get the proper documentation. Yeah, it can put you in like a bit of a tricky situation. Not to mention the fact that if you buy an old set of pipes, you know, who knows what's happened to them over the years. Like, somebody might have meddled with them, somebody might have put a reamer up the bottom of them, you know, maybe scalloped the notes or whatever, or opened the tone holes, or chop bits off. I mean, I've seen this a lot. It happens a lot, believe it or not, on older pipes where they've been meddled with, you know, down the years and years. So it's worth maybe, if you're like trying to find a set to like learn on, maybe stay away from older pipes and pick like a maker that's, well, for one, maybe I suppose like a maker that's alive and around and still making today, because if there is any issues with it, you can take them back to the maker and they can sort them out. But also, a lot of makers won't touch anything made by someone else as well, you know, even if it's like an older maker. So yeah, best to stay away from the old pipes if you're thinking about just getting into uilleann piping. And finally, if you get your hands on a set of pipes, you should reach out to other pipers around your sort of local area if you can. Now, the internet's made it easier than ever to sort of get in touch with pipers and find out where people are. You've got like message boards, you've got like the Facebook groups. You've also got sort of meetups, workshops, concerts. A lot of piping clubs will have something called a Uilleann, which you can go to, where they have, it's basically like a festival of piping. It's really, really good. I would recommend going to some of those. You've also got things like summer schools, so not just in Ireland, but all over the world. You've also got people online who do things like Skype lessons, so basically you can just like sit in your laptop or your phone or whatever and have an actual piper teach you sort of face-to-face, one-on-one online. Really, really handy if you haven't got anyone nearby. It's also worth becoming a member of the Peabre Uilleann. So they're essentially like the Uilleann Pipers Club. They're based in Dublin, but they do work all over the world. And joining them helps support and keep the instrument alive. They also do a pipes on loan scheme. So if you're finding it difficult to get your hands on a set of pipes, you can get in touch with them and see if they can lend you out a set of pipes to get you going. They have a lot of tutorials on their website as well. So the kind of things, you know, maybe explaining the different components of the parts or how to get going when you just first got your practice set. So yeah, those tutorials are all there. They're all like sort of free, easy access, really, really good resource for getting you into piping. Another really important thing that a lot of people don't do is you want to listen to as much solo uilleann piping as you possibly can. So get like a full breadth of all the different type of styles out there. Have a listen to all the different intricacies of the different types of pipes, the different pipers, their approach to the instrument. There's loads of good recordings out there on YouTube. There's lots of stuff on things like Spotify out there. But yeah, have a a deep dive into uilleann piping and see what you can come up with. I'll put a link to a nice little Spotify playlist actually that I can't remember who put this together, but it's a really nice one of basically like a good chunk of solo uilleann piping on there, and it's really, really good. So thank you everybody for watching. If you really enjoyed it, please, hit the like, hit the subscribe, thumbs up. If it was any use to you and helping you buying a set of pipes, feel free to help me out by buying a CD or a digital download. I'll put a link in the description if you are interested in listening to some weird old style solo uilleann piping recorded on cassette. It helps out a big deal, and it'll help me keep going with the channel on here. That's it for today, and thank you very much for watching, and hopefully see you all again. Cheers, bye bye.